garlic mustard, another wild edible, and today we're going to talk about how you identify it, where you can find it, and what you can use it for.
So today is May 5th, so happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. This is the time of the year, though, here in Connecticut. We're in zone 6B, where garlic mustard starts to go to flower. Makes it a little easier to identify. It's also a great pollinator for bees because this is considered a weed, and where it grows, it usually grows in abundance. It only stays in flower for a little while, but like I said, it does help to identify it. It looks like a mustard plant, a wild mustard plant. You can see what the leaves look like. And it has white daisy type flowers. You can see those. They grow in clusters at the tip of each of these stalks, and the leaves alternate stagger from one side to the other all the way down the stem. An easy way to identify this plant is just to break off one of the leaves, crush it in your fingers, give your fingers a little sniff. If it smells garlicky, you can taste it. And if it tastes like garlic, which this one does, then we've identified this as garlic mustard. It's an awesome, awesome find. It has medicinal properties as well as being a great herb to like season campfire cooking or even cooking at the house. So we'll talk a little bit more about this. We'll gather some of this and we'll get it together and maybe make a meal.
So taking a walk along a path in our woods today, and what did we find but garlic mustard? And you're going to find garlic mustard as a fringe plant, and it's going to be along paths or along the side of the road. You might find a single one, or you might find it growing in clusters, like we have some more here. And you can see, as Steve said, right now it's got the pretty white flowers, and they form the shape of a cross. Makes it easier to identify, along with the very distinctive leaves and the garlic smell when you crush it or taste when you eat one. Garlic mustard is said to have the highest level of nutrients of any leafy green ever analyzed. It's high in vitamin A, C, beta-carotene, zinc, potassium, calcium, magnesium, copper, iron, manganese, and fiber. The sulfur-containing amino acids that give it its garlic odor promote cardiovascular health. It's also said to help lower cholesterol and strengthen the immune system. Leaves and stems are anti-asthmatic and antiseptic. Tea made from the leaves is used to treat bronchitis and asthma. Externally, the leaves have been used as an antiseptic poultice, effective in relieving the itching caused by bites and stings. The roots can be chopped up small, then heated in oil to make an ointment to rub on the chest in order to bring relief from bronchitis. What an amazing list of health benefits. Steve and his bouquet of garlic mustard that we picked today. So here's a close-up of the garlic mustard that we picked. So we went and picked a whole bunch of garlic mustard today, and Steve is sitting here on the porch taking the leaves off, and then we're going to get it all cleaned up. And I think what we're going to do with our garlic mustard today is we're going to try making some pesto.
With the garlic mustard that we harvested earlier, we're going to be making a garlic mustard pesto, and that's going to use about 2 loosely packed cups of garlic mustard. The rest of the ingredients we'll go over as I'm putting it in. I'll have the full recipe in the description down below, or I may post it somewhere over here. So we'll start by taking the garlic mustard and I'm just going to add the leaves. Like I said, this is about 2 cups loosely packed. I'm going to put this into a food processor to make my life easier. And then we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of dried basil, 1/4 cup of chopped walnuts, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and that's just to maintain its color. It really doesn't do much for the flavor, but it keeps it green. So if you're going to be jarring this for long term, it'll still look good. 2 tablespoons of chopped garlic, okay, and then I'm going to just blend this up until it's finely chopped. We'll get back to you as soon as that's done. I don't want the sound of my food processor blowing out your eardrums. Okay, now that we have that blended up pretty good, it's chopped fairly fine, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of, or I'm sorry, 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil. And then we're going to blend that again just a little bit. And I'll get back to you. Now that we have the oil incorporated, we have a much finer chop, and it's a beautiful green. You can see the nuts and the garlic. What we're going to do now is put the cover back on. I'm going to add 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. I'm going to add my salt and pepper, and we'll just pulse this a couple times just to incorporate those, but we don't really need to blend them into the mix. So I'm not going to run the food processor, I'm just going to pulse it. Okay, now that we have the cheese incorporated, I added the salt and pepper. I'm going to give this a quick taste. And this is really where you're going to decide whether it needs a little more salt and pepper. No, and that tastes great. I normally do 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. That's just the way we like it. If you use less salt, or if you don't want salt in your diet, you can always leave that out. I just like the way it enhances the flavor. Okay, I'm going to take what we just finished up here. I'm going to get it into some of these ball freezer cups. They're 1/2 pint each. I'm going to fill those up. If there's any leftover, we may be using it for dinner. This will keep for about a week, maybe a little bit more in the fridge. If you put it in the freezer, it'll last a year or more. So let me get these in the containers, and I'll be right back. We ended up with 1/2 pint of garlic pesto that we're going to be putting, or garlic mustard pesto that we're going to be putting in the freezer. Normally, if we're going to do freezer batches, we'll make a much larger mix of pesto. That way we can fill multiple jars, and we'll just make it into a project for the day, and we'll put those in the freezer. This time, because we just did the single recipe that we have down in the description, I ended up with 1/2 pint and enough to make some French bread pizza. What do you do when you've got old French bread that needs to get used? You make pizza, and what better way to do it than with your garlic mustard pesto? Thanks for watching. If you enjoy our videos and want to help us out, please like this video and subscribe. If you know someone who would like our videos, make sure to share, as this really helps our channel out. Again, thanks, and see you soon.